If you were looking to get into sublimation printing and you were looking for some printer options, I'm going to give you 3 different Epson EcoTank printer options for you to get started with sublimation printing. Hey, what is going on? The printer guy here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about 3 different printers, primarily Epson EcoTank printers, because I believe those are the best, most cost-effective printers you can use for sublimation printing. Now, if this video ends up being helpful, please make sure to like. Any questions at all, comment below, and if you want more content like this, please make sure to subscribe. Now, there will be product links, one of them being for sublimation ink. Here at Best Printers, we sell a high-quality sublimation ink. It will be the very first link down in the description below. There will also be product links for the printers that I end up talking about here in this video. Now, one thing to understand about these printers that I'm going to be talking about is that you can do a conversion if you already own one of these or any Epson EcoTank printer, but really the easiest way to turn any Epson EcoTank printer into a sublimation printer is that when you buy it new, you do not install regular ink, and instead you install sublimation ink, which typically is purchased separately, and that is that sublimation ink that I have linked down in the description below. Now, there will be video chapters down below this video for you to skip around and go to different parts of the video, but I always recommend you watch the entire video. All right, so the very first Epson EcoTank printer that I highly recommend is the Epson EcoTank 2400. Now, these printers are going to be ranked from the lowest price all the way to the highest price, and as you go up in the price, you go up in the features. Now, the Epson EcoTank 2400 does not have a display, and it doesn't have some of the other features that some other Epson EcoTank printers have. That is what allows for that low price of under $200. Right now, as I'm recording this video, the price sits at about $160 on Amazon. Again, linked down in the description below, so you can check out the different specs. But really, when you're doing sublimation printing, you typically don't need a display. So that's why I always highly recommend this printer, because it's very easy to use. You're typically already going to be using a PC or a laptop to do your sublimation printing or designs and transferring them over to the printer. So that's why this is a really good printer, cost effective and really simple to use. It really has all the base functionality that you need, and it doesn't break the bank. All right, and the next Epson EcoTank printer that I highly recommend is a new 2025 printer. You may be watching this in 2026, but it's the Epson EcoTank 2980. Now, this printer does have a display, and it does have some other features, a little bit more capacity with paper tray and a little bit faster printing speeds than the Epson EcoTank 2400. So you're going to be paying around $270. You'll have to check that price at the time that you watch this video. The price could be different, but as of right now, it is at about $270. A few more features that you may have, a little bit faster, maybe a little bit higher quality as well. And across the board, all the printers I talk about here in this video use the same ink, and they are 4-color ink systems. So that makes it really simplified when you're buying ink, when you are maintaining, when you're doing all the different things that you need to for sublimation printing. 4 colors really works well, as opposed to maybe a 6-color Epson EcoTank printer, which is going to be a lot more expensive and a much more complicated printer. What I value with sublimation printing is to keep things as simplified as possible, but to get what you need to get done. All right, so the Epson EcoTank 2980 is a good mid-range Epson EcoTank printer that can really get the job done for you. And if you really wanted a display, you know, for maintenance reasons, the display is much more convenient than having to go on your computer. So that's a small upgrade that I would spend on if you wanted to, and if you had the budget for it. Now, a really quick note here about these Epson EcoTank printers is the reason why you would want to get one of these regular ink printers versus just a dedicated sublimation printer is because you usually will save on the cost. Those dedicated sublimation printers are usually more expensive, and you can't ever convert back to regular ink. So let's say you got one of these printers and you used sublimation ink to begin with, and you have a sublimation printer basically. You can actually always convert it back to regular ink, and that's really a bonus there because you would not have to buy a whole new printer. So really, you have a lot of pros here for why you would want to buy one of these Epson EcoTank printers versus just a dedicated sublimation printer, because these double as both. They can be regular and sublimation. All right, so the last Epson EcoTank printer that I highly recommend is the Epson EcoTank 15,000 model. Now this is a 13 by 19 format printer. So you got that wider format. If you need wider formats, of course you would need wide format sublimation paper, but if you need to do larger designs, this is going to be the printer for you. It's also a 4-color printer, which I really like, simplified, compatible with a 4-color sublimation ink program, which will save on cost, be more effective, and in general, I just really like the 4-color system. When you get up to the wider format Epson EcoTank printers, for example, the Epson EcoTank 8550, it's a 6-color, and you would be probably spending more on ink and maintenance, and you would spend a lot more on the printer. So as of this recording, the Epson EcoTank 15,000 sits at about $550. Now, I do want to throw this in here. There was someone on my channel that recently found one of these for about $50 and was able to fix it and get it back up and running. So that is a possibility that you can buy these secondhand, and they need really simple repairs to get them back up and running. So with your standard Epson EcoTank 15,000, you have a display. You have a lot of the different features that you would want. Automatic document feeder, glass scanner, has all of the bells and whistles that you would really want for regular printing, but of course with sublimation printing, those would go unused. Again, if you decided to convert back into a regular printer, you have all of those features if you needed them. All right, so these are my top 3 picks for different sublimation printers that you could use from a base level Epson EcoTank 2400 up to a large format Epson EcoTank 15,000. Progressively, the price goes up as you go up in the models. Now, with the Epson EcoTank 2980, that is a flagship printer that has 2 other models that you could look at to kind of get some other features, like the Epson EcoTank 3950. That's 1 step up, and a step up from that one would be the Epson EcoTank 4950, and they would have more features, a little bit faster print speeds, and maybe higher quality. And now I have been able to do a lot of projects simply with an Epson EcoTank 2400. That's why I highly recommend that printer, because most of your sublimation print jobs will be able to be handled by that printer. You don't really need to go up in price unless you wanted to. If you had the budget and you wanted some of the different features for whatever reason, you could do that. If you wanted to maybe use the printer for the scanner, and of course the 2400 does have a scanner. The biggest jump and features you're going to have is going from the 2400 to the 15,000, which is going from a standard format to a larger format, 13 by 19. And of course, you can go down in size on that. That 13 by 19 can go down to 4 by 6 and any size in between there as well. So you have a wide range of sizes that you can print on with that printer. Now, really important, any of these printers that you end up purchasing, the quality of the sublimation ink that you use is vital, because you could have a great printer, but if your ink is low quality and not compatible, then you're not going to get the best print results. Here on this channel, the only ink that we use is Best Printers ink, the one that's linked down in the description below. Any project that you see us do here on this channel, anytime we're using sublimation ink, it is Best Printers ink, because that is the highest quality ink that we have been able to put together, and it's at an affordable price. So again, link down in the description below for that product and for the printers that I talked about here in this video. All right, so I really hope this video ended up being helpful. If it was, please make sure to like the video. Any questions at all, comment below. And if you want more content like this, please make sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time. Thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. I handpicked 2 videos that are here on the screen for you to watch next. Also consider subscribing to this channel. There's so much helpful content for you if you're a printer owner, and it's just good to have a resource like this for you in the future, whether you're dealing with a printer that's not printing well or you need more printer recommendations. So I look forward to seeing you again in another video.